It has been a month, let me tell you. Wow. Oh my God. That's why I didn't podcast for the whole month because I just had, and I think I had mentioned that in my last podcast that I probably wouldn't have um, put a video up for April because it's just going, going, going. And we're not done, but we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were, for all the things that we have to do. So, just a little highlight. Um, we moved my father-in-law and his wife out of their house that he had been in for 50 years, just over 50 years, and downsized them to an apartment. That in itself is a whole issue, which I'm not going to get into here, but just to say, if you got a family member who needs to be in assisted living, just, I don't care what you got to do, just put them in assisted living, for the love of God. That's all I'm going to say. So we downsized them into an apartment. And so we're trying to get stuff out. There's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff. But we're at the point now where most of the things that they want are out. Their daughter, my husband's sister, lived there with her kids. She still has to get some of her stuff out. But we're at the point now where we go there one more time, make sure we got everything that we want out. And then we're going to get one of those big dumpsters, and then like when we rent that, just hit it hard for like 2 days and just dump everything that we can in there, clean it out, get the house on the market. So that's where we're at. But it's like every weekend it's just going over it. Not only that, but then now they live 10 minutes down the road from us, so hey, or as the kids go now, hey, so that's what's been going on with that. All right, so for today's episode, since I've had a whole month to just knit, I have 4 pairs of socks that I finished. I have that Mobius crochet shawl that I finished. And I think all of that falls under my whips category since this is the beginning of the month. I don't think I have anything that I am working on that's close to being done. No, I do not. So I'm just going to talk about the finishes and then try to keep it short and, see you later. So let's get the Mobius done first. So last time I talked about the Crochet Mobius by Nastasia, who has I think it's a tutorial podcast on YouTube. It's a free pattern. Let me tell you what my problem was. See, this is what happens when you think you know stuff, so you just skip over the instructions and then you screw up. You after round and found out. So when I was watching videos, her video and then other people's videos on how to do this Mobius, I was just like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. And I just kept screwing it up, and I ended up having a double twist. And I thought I was going to be okay with it, and I was not. So I ripped the whole thing out and then did it over and actually watched the whole video from beginning to end, like I should have done from the beginning. So I now have a crochet Mobius that's actually done right. I don't have the label for this yarn anymore, but it's a multicolor. That's showing up pretty well. It's just a multicolor worsted weight, and you can kind of see where it started because there's like a little bit of an indentation here. So that starts here, and then you're going here, and then as it's twisting, it's going here. So you're kind of working out, right? Guess I could put it on for you. I'm hot flashing right now, but for y'all, I will try. All right, so here we go. Try to fix the back. So, yeah, I think I used wasn't it an end hook? It might have been an end hook because this is pretty. I have a tight grip, tight tension on my knitting and on my crochet, so I'm sure I went up to an end hook to do this. I don't know what the millimeters are in an end hook. I'm getting hot. All right. I do actually have, might be up here. Yes. Oh no, I used a K. I used a K, and it was 6.5 millimeter crochet. I'm old school. This is how I learned to crochet, is with one of these, using the pencil grip, which a lot of people don't use for some reason anymore. And it's like some kind of low-key debate about whether the pencil grip or the knife grip for crochet is better. And honestly, it just depends on you. It's not about what's better for the masses. It depends on you. I tried doing that knife grip where you're crocheting like this. Oh, hell no. No. I was like, oh, I feel it going all the way up here. No. So I better off just doing this, and it works. I've been doing that my whole life, and I'm fine. But it may not work for you. But anyway, yeah, I'm old school. I like to use those old metal ones from Susan Bates and from Boy, I think the other brand is. Yeah, so finish that. I am sure I will use it at some point in the fall. I don't know what I would wear it with, but I will use it at some point, maybe, hopefully. Or I'll give it away. Just depends. If I don't use it this year, then I will give it away. Oh, look, I didn't even realize I hadn't done this yet. So I guess it's not done. I'll put it over here so that I remember to weave that in. I did some running around this morning, and so since I was dressed, I figure, you know, let me wear something other than my normal tank top that you're used to seeing me in, and do a podcast. So I went to my favorite coffee shop, Viva La Fresa, and they have the best matcha in Smyrna. Okay, if you're down here in Smyrna, Tennessee, get yourself some matcha, iced. So good. We have a coffee chain called Just Love. Yeah, I'm gonna poop on them. So I got a matcha from them, and I was just like, first the color wasn't there. It was so pale, which I don't know a whole lot about matcha, but I know that the lighter the color, the less quality it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it just tasted like I was having flavored soy milk. This is made with oat milk. I can't have dairy, like, mostly. Like, it depends on what it is. I can have cheese, but I can't have, like, milk. So I have it with oat milk. I don't taste the oat milk. All I taste is matcha, and it's so good. So good. Sometimes if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see pictures of my knitting on white table with a bunch of pink and white and black background, and that's them. Okay, so we're gonna go to my first pair of socks that I made. These are from, let me get my thing out so you can see it properly. These are from Charlotte Stone. The socks are called Midnight and Zermatt, and I knit it in DK weight. I don't think the original pattern's in DK weight. No, it couldn't have been, because I had to make the smallest size to fit. So yeah, the original is in figuring weight. So I'm just trying to use up scraps. So that's basically what I did here. This is most of this is Madeline Tosh, Vino. I don't remember what this blue is. Cardigan? That can't be right. I don't remember. And then this white one here with some speckles, if you can see it, is a really old Pride colorway when I was doing like other flags. That one's the pansexual. That one there. I thought that went pretty well. I did a reinforcement on the heel like I normally do. There's my little hole that I never fixed. But I reinforcement on the heel because there's no nylon in here, and I'm starting to do more of my socks with the reinforcement under the ball of the foot and on the heel of the foot if there's no nylon, because I'll knit socks with almost, I shouldn't say almost anything, but it does not bother me if a yarn does not have nylon in it. I'm just going to blow out through it faster, whatever. Okay. So yeah, I just do that just to kind of help it along a little bit so that I can at least go 2 seasons before I have to darn a sock instead of just 1 season. What I do, I don't know if other people do this too, but every winter season I will pick like whatever socks I wore the season before plus 1 or 2 new ones, and then those are the only socks. I'll wash them obviously, but I just cycle through those 3 or 4 pairs of socks for the whole winter. So which is why I go through them fast, because I'm not wearing 12 or 13 different pairs of socks throughout the whole winter. I'm wearing like 3 or 4, which is why I say I blow through my socks fast, because I'm wearing them like that. And then like there's a holiday one, then I'll wear that and then put it back in the box, because I'm only wearing them like once, maybe twice. So it doesn't really go into the box of socks that are in heavy circulation. So back to these. I knit these on a US 4. All of my DK weight socks are on US 4. I don't know if I said these were Charlotte Stone. I think I did. And that's really it. I think these were 56 stitch. So what I had to do, because when I make vanilla DK weight socks, I only do 50 stitches. But when I have to do color work, I have to add, because it's going to constrict, right? That way I'm not changing needles and all that. I'm just sticking to the same size needle. So these ended up a little bit bigger than I would have liked, and I probably should have like decreased it more, and I didn't. But because the pattern starts, I do toe up, so I reverse all her patterns. So I go to the 56 stitches here, and then I decrease here for the foot. And I didn't decrease enough. I think I have, I don't know, 2 to 4 extra stitches on the foot, and then this part of the leg before I get back to the cuff. And I increase to get back to the stitches that I need for the pattern. And depending on the pattern, I'll do that with all of my socks. Like if I'm doing patterning for the whole entire sock, then I'm not going to do that, obviously, because I need the bigger size. If I'm doing that where, say I'm just doing the color work up here in the top, then I would just do like my 50 stitches for DK weight until I got up to here, and then increase to whatever I need to do the color work. And then normally, which I didn't do with this pair of socks, which, you know, they're going to be kind of baggy boot socks, but whatever. Normally I would just kind of decrease here and then increase back up here. So I finished that, and then kind of late for St. Patrick's Day, because I started these at the end of March, like near the end of March, over the second half of March. Where's my thing? Pulled out some green scraps to make green socks, and I put out a poll on my Instagram, should I do avocados or shamrocks, and people voted for shamrock. You're not gonna be able to see the shamrock. Oh darn. I guess if I do it this way. So I found a pattern called Barbie's Shamrock Stocking something or other by Barbie Smith. Everything would be linked down below. So again, it started from the toe up. So you can see the shamrock here. So what I did with the chart, it's a free pattern. I had to figure out my foot count, right? And then figure out how to make the chart fit with my stitch count, because it's for a stocking, it's not for a sock. So I had to figure out, where can I start, where can I stop, where it's going to be at least somewhat cohesive. So I think I did an okay job. This is kind of where it begins and ends here, and begins and ends here. So it's like, it kind of looks like it's supposed to be like that. Yeah. And then I think this green color is cardigan. This is also Madeline Tosh. I don't remember what that blue was. I really just don't remember. And then this green here is mine. It's Under the Sea, which has like green and blue tones and stuff. So I didn't think I had enough of this green to do the whole sock, because I was just going to do this color work. I think, no, I wanted to do it here, but I was just going to do this color work, but I didn't have enough of this light green. So then I used the Under the Sea to break it up, kind of do a little bit of a patterning here to give me enough green to do the rest of the sock. I did a reinforcement on the ball of the foot, and then for my heel. And again, US 4. I don't remember what the stitch count was for this. I'm sure that I did 50 until I got to here, and then whenever I needed to get to that stitch count for the chart, and then decreased for the rest of the foot. So did that. Yeah, basically the whole thing is just my idea. It's just the chart was from that stocking pattern. Come on. All right, that's 2 pairs. Pair number 3. Again, going into my scraps. It's a fingering weight sock. And here I was playing with some ribbing because I don't normally rib a whole sock. But, you know, it comes a point in time when you start getting tired of doing vanilla. And you just need a little bit of, like, zhuzh, you know. So, this is what I did. This color, I don't know because I got this at a thrift shop. Didn't have a label. This one is Ryan Yarns. It's purple. And it's called... Oh my God, what was it? I don't remember. I'll write it down. Oh my God, it was such a quirky name. I know the last part was Violets Are Lesbians. Something is blue, violets are lesbian. Anyway. And then this one here, pretty sure is mine from like when I first started dyeing yarn. I couldn't even tell you the colorway if I even had a colorway name for that dye. For that colorway. I don't know. But just like I said, I'm using scraps, so I did that. And again, did the reinforcement for the ball of the foot. You can kind of see that. And then the reinforcement for the heel. There is nylon in all of these, but I just did it to do it. I was in the habit of doing it, so. Yeah, so I think that was my first time doing an actual all over rib. I didn't rib the bottom, but I think that counts as an all over anyway. So finished that. Those were on a US 2. And what is my stitch count for a US 2? I've gone from 60 stitches to 62. And either one is fine for my foot. 64 is just a little too much. It gets a little bit baggy. So I don't go over 62, so I'm sure I figured out ribbing to do 62 stitches. So that's going to go into my box. Why is there cat hair on here? I do not know. And then for the last pair of socks, I actually have labels for this one. Went into my stash. One of these I bought in a yarn shop a year ago. Might have been the Bees Knits, I think. And another one I got in a swap. So let me get the label real quick. So this ultraviolet, which is, it's coming out almost accurate on the screen. This one is Earth Yarns. Earth Yarns, you have to go onto their website to get colorway names. But that's the label. And it's like this really ultraviolet bluish purple goodness. And this multicolor one is Mountain Colors, and the colorway is called Barn Dance, and it has merino and silk and nylon and some kind of domestic wool. So because it had silk and nylon in it, I didn't do any reinforcement on here just because I really wanted to see how well the mixture of nylon and silk holds up for hard wearing. I mean, it'll probably be a couple years before I wear these, I'm going to be honest. No, there's my hole. I know there's ways to close that up. I just don't. Unless it's for my shop, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm sure it bothers some of you, so I'll turn this around. So yeah, there's silk and nylon in this, so I figure, okay, well, let me see what it looks like, or how long it would take before I blow a hole into any of this. And then the ball of the foot, I think, was it just 100%? Yeah, there's nothing in the ball of the foot, not the ball, the toe. It was nice to work with though. Not as stretchy as just doing wool and nylon, and I think it's because of that silk, but it wasn't anything I couldn't work with or handle. This on a US 2, 62 stitches, and it feels, I'm not used to knitting anything with a silk content, and it feels different. There's not a whole lot of silk in here. How much in there was there? 13%, but you can tell, you can feel it, but it's just, I don't want to say plastic because that's not it, but it's just, it almost leans that way, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that's done. And oh, I got 2 patterns. I forgot to mention that. So I'm done with the knitting and crochet content. I did buy 2 patterns. Melanie Berg had a sale a few weeks ago. It was 50%, and I have a lot of her stuff favorited, so I went through and found 2. I am trying to keep my pattern number down, and I'll talk about that in June when I go over how I started the year and then where I'm at midway. I'm not on a no-buy pattern. I'm just trying to keep the number down so I can get through my paid-for patterns, So when I print off patterns, I usually skip the first page because I'm trying to save ink, and usually it's just a whole picture of like unnecessary when I have a picture here, and it kind of, lets me know there's another one there, It lets me know what it is. This one here, actually, the first picture is not too bad. It's not taking up the whole page. So I got Only Good Vibes. I also print in black and white. I do all of my knitting on the computer, like 100% of the time. And I use Adobe. So I just highlight and save as I'm doing stuff. I only print off the patterns that I paid for so that I have a hard copy of what I paid for. And then they go into, actually I'm getting ready to pack some away. So I have 2 manila folders that are like this thick, full of patterns that I paid for. And I need to get them boxed away. So I have them in case I need them, like in case the grid goes down or something like that. I've got hard copies. I don't work off of these. But anyway, this one's called Good Vibes Only. I'll put a picture up so you don't have to try to decipher the black and white, And the other one is called, I'm trying to remember now. I mean, that is the problem when you're like not getting the first page, is that you don't have the name of the pattern. I will put it on screen because I don't remember off the top of my head, and it doesn't say on here. I should probably write it down before I pack this one up so I know. But yeah, so that's what I got like a week ago. So now I could put those away and pack those up. And like I said, I don't have anything that is close to being done, so I'm not going to show anything today as far as the whips are concerned. I'm starting a new segment on my podcast called Knit and Chat, and I kind of go into why I started that segment on that, and that will be posted a week or 2 from now. It's just going to be once a month for now, just to kind of see where it's at. But basically the gist of it is, it's a knit and chat. Until I get some feedback and we get some conversation going, I'm just kind of picking things to talk about. And I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. And I had put out a poll a couple of years ago about, should we avoid certain topics, this, that, and the other. And so that's why I just kind of kept it back. And I'm like, you know what? If anything comes up that gets nasty, I'll deal with that when I deal with that. Because honestly, right now, I don't get a lot of correspondence in the comments. I just don't. maybe like 2 people, you know, and that's not all the time. So I'm not worried about it right now. I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, trying to stay away from like the really, really hot topics unless it's something that's really strong on my mind. And let's be honest, there's I'm sure there's a lot of things that are strong on everybody's mind right now. But unless it's like really strong on my mind, I'm probably going to avoid the politics for now. So it's just kind of like I'm going to start off with things like my background, and so I'm sure people are curious. There's a whole lot of new people on here now, and a lot of people don't know my background or anything like that. So I'm going to start talking about those things. I kept it light and breezy for the first episode, but yeah, that's what's going to be going on. And then still doing my 2025 make list at the end of the month. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to let you go. Excuse me. I'm going to let you go and wish me luck on this house thing. I actually have to contact a realtor this week to see. It's actually our realtor that got us this house. And I want to see if she can do their house. Because apparently there's a whole thing where realtors don't step on each other's toes. News to me. I am not a realtor. I don't know anything about that world. I just figure if you hire somebody, you hire somebody. But maybe that's not how it works. I don't know. But I'm going to contact her and see if she is available to be able to take care of that house, so we have at least that part taken care of. Whew, this is a lot of work. You know, we're at that season. I'm at that season in my life, and you know, I guess it kind of depends on when your parents were, you know, had you, or like how old they were, or how old you were when your guardians took care of you, whatever. But like, you get to a season where like you have to start taking care of your parents or your guardians, and it's just like, you know it's coming, but nothing really prepares you for it until it actually happens, and it's just like, wow, this is exhausting. It's exhausting. So I'll probably be talking about that for at least another month, and then hopefully it'll die down and I'll have something else to talk about. I don't really have any cat news right now. Thank God for that. So, yeah. All right. So, I'll see you in the knit and chat, and then I'll see you again for the 2025 make along 2025 make list. All right. So take care. Go make something, and I'll see you later. Bye.